I got a lot of backlash in the comment section about my positive discussion of the CEO of United Healthcare. And part of it is, well, you don't know him. Maybe he's a really bad guy. And insurance companies, you don't realize insurance companies, they deny coverage all the time. Well, that's part of the contract. That's part of what insurance is. It doesn't always give you the coverage that you think you have. You should read the fine print. You should read the contract you have with them. But put that aside and say they deny coverage all the time. The evil monsters, big business, and I got this whole slew of things of you always defend big business. You're always on the side of big business. And of course, I always get accused of betraying Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand would have never defended big business. So let me just remind you, Ayn Rand's last talk, Photo Forum, was not Photo Forum. It was actually in New Orleans. It was about big business being the persecuted minority. So the whole talk was basically defending big business and the fact that it was persecuted by politicians, persecuted by the public, hated by everybody, and how unjust and wrong that was, and how big business needs to stand up for itself and stop sanctioning, its destroyers. But here's the question: what is it about big business? Why do I defend big business mostly? Right? Why? And we live in a crony world. We live in a world that's not capitalist. It's not a free market. A lot of these companies lobby government all the time. Certainly, the health insurance industry does. It's a mixed economy. Why defend business, any business, but particularly big, successful business, in a mixed economy? And here's the point. These businesses are providing you with life-saving products, life-saving stuff, every day, all the time, in spite of a mixed economy. They find ways to overcome the regulations, the controls, the taxes, the insanity that is government, the insanity that is a mixed economy, and keep chugging along, keep providing services, keep making a profit. Are these all government-protected monopolies? Well, if they were government-protected monopolies, wouldn't you think that United Healthcare would have a profit margin that's higher than 6%? Apple has 25%. If United Healthcare is a government monopoly, why doesn't it have profit margins that big? Their profits are actually pretty low. Of all your healthcare people you're engaged with in healthcare, from doctors to hospitals to clinics to MRI places to all screening, whatever, insurance companies actually have the lowest profit margins. Now, granted, I am a customer of United Healthcare. And my experience with United Healthcare has been amazing. I think I said this once. When I had fusion on my back, I had major back surgery. They fused L4-5. I told you my experience in the hospital and all that. What I forgot to tell you is I got like 8-second opinions because I didn't want to have surgery. Like, I don't want to fuse L4-5. It sucks, and it's usually leads to a lifetime of problems. I was in such pain, something had to be done. So I kept going doctor after doctor after doctor to find a doctor somewhere out there who would tell me I didn't need the fusion. And they all said I needed it, so I ended up choosing the surgeon I wanted. And here's the thing. United Healthcare paid for every single one of those visits. Then I got to choose the doctor. Me. Now, you tell me you can do that in a socialized healthcare system like Canada or England, or for that matter, any socialized healthcare system in the world. I got to choose the doctor. I got to choose the surgeon, which basically allowed me to choose the hospital. And I got amazing, fantastic care. Sadly, that doctor no longer takes United Healthcare. Maybe they didn't treat him that well. But me, they treated great. Now, granted, some of you might have your coverage denied. But that's the point, right? Insurance companies are not there to just pay for all your health care without any evaluation. That's not their job. They can't make money that way. So the fact that they deny coverage is part of the business, sure. Now, given all that, does it mean that every big business it provides great service all the time? Well, of course not. Running a business is complicated, hard, and often big businesses fail in big parts of what they do. And in a true free market, there'd be more competition probably. Or at the very least, big businesses would fear competition more, and therefore their customer service would be much better. But this is the world we live in. We live in a mixed economy. We live with government controls, particularly in healthcare, over every aspect of what's going on. And in spite of that, United Healthcare pays my medical bills. Now, I pay them a lot of money, but I'm getting my money's worth. I wish we didn't have the system that we have. I wish I could just buy a catastrophic health insurance plan and pay for everything else out of pocket. I wish there was a Medicare and Medicaid. I wish, that hospitals advertise their prices and that you could shop for doctors. I wish for a lot of things, but that's not reality. Reality is the system we have. And in that system we have, big business, among them big insurance companies, make our lives better. And it's harder for them to make our lives better in this system. Because in a competitive system, in a free market, you just have to deal with the market. Hard enough. In the world in which we live, you have to deal with bureaucrats and governments. And it's a testament to their productive genius that they are capable of doing that and still provide us with the product. To resent business for what government is doing to us is unbelievably unjust. It's just wrong. We should be thanking business and pledging to work harder and better to try to liberate them from the evils of regulations and controls and basically big, intrusive, rights-violating government, which is what we have. Instead, the energy in our society is all oriented towards, we hate business, we hate big business. Take that energy and put it towards, we want to limit government. We want to, shrink the scope of government. We want to deregulate completely healthcare. But of course, that's not what people want. People want free healthcare, free in quotes, right? There is no free healthcare. They want, ultimately, other people to pay for their healthcare, or they think that's what they want. They believe they want socialized medicine. In that context, of course, healthcare is the villain. I saw a stat today that something like 41% of young people in a recent survey thought that it was justified, the killing of the CEO of United Healthcare. I mean, that is so evil and so disgusting and so despicable. And the idea that I get criticized for saying a few nice things about a CEO of a big business. Whoa. It was 17% of all Americans, but a chunk of young people. So our system sucks, is I think the technical word. There's no question about that. Our system is far from ideal, no question about that. And our big businesses probably are not as, for sure, are not as productive and as efficient and as customer-oriented as they would be in a free market, for sure. But our system is dramatically better than socialized healthcare because of the efforts of private practitioners, including big business, to overcome government regulations and controls and the randomness and the pettiness and the horrors of what government inflicts on them, overcome all that and still provide us with services. And, you know, I don't begrudge United Healthcare its profit. Quite the contrary. I want them to make money so they can keep investing, keep making the operations more efficient, and and be able to, in the future, maybe be better at denying less coverage. But the idea that if you buy insurance, you therefore must always get the coverage you expect is delusional. That doesn't happen in any other kind of insurance. It depends on the terms of the contract. Read your insurance contract. Now, granted, you don't have a choice today because of a mixed economy. You buy through your employer. Well, complain to your employer. They're buying whatever the coverage they're getting, the contract that they have with the insurance company. That's what's dictating it. Our banks and fintech are antiquated to a large extent because they're too small. They're too small. So if you want to expend energy, if you want to expend passion, expend it on deregulating insurance and medicine. But the reality is, CEOs of big business are productive geniuses to juggle all the things they have to juggle, to maintain any kind of rationality in the kind of crazy world they have to live in, to be able to continue to employ people and provide all of us with a service in spite of the insanity of what they face, particularly in the healthcare industry. It's just stunning. And we should appreciate that. It's not a job most of us, an overwhelming majority of us, couldn't do it. The stress, just the sheer number of things you have to manage. CEO of any business, a big business in particular, is maybe the most complex, difficult job in the world. And the reality that we don't appreciate that goes back to we don't appreciate business. We don't appreciate what business does. We have no sense as a culture of what the productive process involves, the kind of decisions that are made, and the kind of decisions that need to be made, and the consequence for ill or for good of those decisions. The fact that CEOs have very short tenures, they don't last very long, both because of fatigue and because of the fact that boards of directors fire them so quickly. It is among the most valuable positions in the world, require amazing skills, and yet, I guess we live in a time, in America, of all countries in the world, in America, where shooting a CEO is just, that's okay. What the hell? They're greedy. They make a lot of money. Think about what that says of our culture more than any other thing that's happening in our culture right now. More than anything else. How un-American that is. How un-American that is. And how destructive that is. How destructive that is with regard to our future. Our future. If we cannot stand up and support the people who are making that future a reality, and you say, oh no, it's startups, it's small businesses. Yeah, but small businesses that all want to be big business. And the successful ones become big business. NVIDIA was once a little business, now it's a big business. Apple was once a little business, now it's a big business. Every one of the names that you know once was a small business, now it's a big business. And the startups today that are going to be really, really successful are going to be big businesses. That's how it works. But if we're disgusted and annoyed understandably, at the American healthcare system, which, by the way, is the best in the world. So you need to start there. The alternative that pretty much everybody wants, including, by the way, Donald Trump, who in 2016 suggested that what he wanted was the Australian system, which is single-payer, government-run healthcare system. And has recently said that he is going to advocate for getting rid of the middleman. Middleman? That sound familiar? Socialized medicine has no middleman. That's good, right? Good. No, middlemen, a huge value to the system. So yes, there are real problems with the American healthcare system. But in comparison to the rest of the world, we should be celebrating. And the solution is not to attack the CEOs of big business. The solution is not to attack doctors, hospitals, clinics, drug companies, big pharma, and big insurance. The solution is the exact opposite. Support them and attack government and insist on deregulation and freeing up the market system. And then we'll get an even better system than we have today. But you don't understand that by attacking the American healthcare system, the producers in the American healthcare system, the producers, what you are actually doing is setting us up for socialized healthcare, setting us up for the government to take it all over. And it's going to be bipartisan. I mean, reality is Trump and Republicans did not repeal Obamacare, will not repeal Obamacare, even though Obamacare made a bad system worse. They will not do it. Because to actually repeal it, you'd have to have an alternative. An alternative would actually be more freedom. And the last thing they want, the people in our political class, Trump included, is to give us more freedom. Sadly, that is the reality. All right, so yes, I will continue to defend big business. I continue to condemn cronyism. And I continue to separate the two out and continue to recognize that in today's world, if you're a big business, if you're a business in general, you have to deal with government. And then the question is, are you adding value? Are you being productive? Or are you just leeching off of the government? Most businesses in America, big and small, are productive businesses in spite of them having to deal with government. In spite of that.